Okay, I'm cool.
Alrighty.
No beer. Can't drink beer.
Why not?
My cat bit my foot.
Oh.
Bit it bad. Like I had to go to the urgent care and get antibiotics because my entire foot was infected and swollen. Like it was fucking like huge when I woke up the next day. He bit it on Saturday and just like sunk his freaking teeth into it, and I was like, "Oh, that little fuck." And then Saturday, I went to bed, and Sunday I woke up and I couldn't walk. It was like I had a sprained ankle. It's fucked. So Vanessa
Actually,
and I were looking at it, and we're like, "We need to go to the hospital because that shit like spreads like wildfire. Like it's crazy."
speaking of wildfire, seeing
Yeah,
the
you talking about
freaking
all
sky.
the sky and the ash and the
Yeah.
sun and the doom and gloom.
You see the
Yeah,
pictures of like
crazy.
San Francisco and
I
Oregon
did
and
see the
stuff.
pictures of San Francisco. You said Oregon? I didn't see that.
It's the same. Like
Oh, okay.
fucking red, dude. Just
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, just from what I've seen here, you know.
I mean, it's funny because living in Orange County, we're just like we're in
Mhm.
California, and like it's one of those. It feels like one of those memes where like the ship is like sinking, but you're staying there smiling. It's like the Titanic. You're just playing the violin.
Yeah,
It's like
California
it's
will
all
forever be
good.
smiling no matter how shit like you heard about Gabe and his place, right?
No, what happened?
So Gabe had to move to Iowa,
Uh huh.
I believe. Um, Due to coronavirus, he lost his job. He got another job over there, or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So he's living over there, and then he got hit by a hurricane like a month ago, or it wasn't even a hurricane. It was whatever like a land hurricane is, like
Tornado.
a derecho. No, I think they're called derechos. No, they're called derechos. It's like they're derechos because hurricanes or tornadoes are spinny, right? Derechos are like hurricanes where it's just like wind just
Uh huh.
crazy. Anyways, took out the power, took out the power for 4 days, took out the internet for like a month. It was like crazy.
Damn.
And he basically said he like lived in a third world country for like like
It's
2 weeks. It's crazy.
first world problems.
First world problems, right?
Fucking
Internet no
live
for
without
2
the
weeks.
internet. You're like, God damn! Now I know how the
This place is
militia
a
kids in
hellhole.
Africa feels.
This place is a hellhole.
uh,
God, do you know how many Americans would just like end it if like they had no internet for how long? How long before people just start calling it like just
Probably.
checking their time clocks?
I don't know if it'll come down to that, but maybe I'll give it like.
At a certain time period, I think so.
I
At
bet
least the
there's some
younger
people. I
population
bet
or
there's
the
some
younger.
people that it will be like a day. Can't live without a day. And I bet realistically.
Okay, well, most people could do a day. I'm talking
Okay, I'll
about
say a week. A week, I will say maybe. You'll see,
people start
like
getting
you'll hear
weird.
stories.
When do people start getting weird?
Like the most of the population, I would give it a month.
A month?
Yeah, for a majority of the
I say a month.
population.
I
Yeah,
say it's straight month dry, cold turkey. Most people are getting weird.
yeah. That's about the time frame for COVID too. You know, you heard about it, it popped up. You're like, oh, we'll get through this. Whatever, it's not a big deal. You know, then you feel strong. Like I can live without the internet for a day or two, even a week.
Right.
And then you're gonna start protesting at the beach. You know, yelling at our governor.
The people who can't live on the internet,
Yeah,
right?
they'll be
Or live on
like,
the internet way too much.
you know what? They're not even gonna protest because there's no internet and social media to share their anger. They're just gonna sit at home. They have to do it the old-fashioned way and actually like drive their vehicles to the state capitol and protest in front of our governor. Fix our internet.
Hey, you know how I know they'll do it? Because at the end of the day, the internet's like a drug, right?
Kind
Everything
of.
can be compared to like a drug. If you
Sure.
enjoy it, yeah, it's giving you a dopamine drug. drip, right?
Yeah.
So the internet's giving people dopamine drip, so it's like a drug. Now people will do anything for drugs, including drive their car down someplace and go yell at some people.
Yeah. I mean, I bet you there'll be people who hear there's internet like in fucking Canada and drive up to Canada or Mexico. It'd be funny. Everyone storms Mexico.
Yeah.
Where's your internet cafes?
Yeah, holding up their laptops, walking at the Mexican border, or like
I'll just be on their
Canadian border.
phones, but yeah.
I know, but just over dramatized.
That's actually I believe that would happen if internet went down.
Would, huh? People would leave your country. You're no longer a country that they want to be in.
Yeah. Yep.
Abandoned ship.
They'll be like,
place.
we'll just stay
I'll
in
tell
Mexico.
you one thing, it won't just be people of color leaving. It would be fucking like tons of white people as well.
Yes, I mean, I guess you would know your people.
I don't know. Would I leave?
Realistically, I wouldn't leave. I would actually love to see in America, maybe not permanently, but like more of an experimental thing, just watch how people behave without the internet. I mean,
truly, I would only leave if. You're talking about true chaos, like people start gunning people down in the streets and shit. Like, go first world country, like turns into fucking Mexico. They're not first world country, but Mexico is basically like all the violence, kind of with the technology.
well, the cartel is actually developing a lot of technology.
Dude, they are. It's crazy. I've seen it. I know. I follow this cartel guy that
This is the guy on Joe Rogan, right?
Been on Joe. Yeah, Ed. He shows a lot of the stuff.
Actually, he was the reason why I started actually listening to Joe Rogan. I just came across one of his interviews and I was like, "Ooh, cartels! I'm interested." So I watched that. I watched both episodes with him, and then I watched the whole bunch of documentaries on Netflix and like Narcos and stuff like that. Not even documentaries, but like just Narcos and stuff with Pablo Escobar.
He said one of them is the closest to all of it.
Wait, what do you mean?
Ed said one of the Netflix series is the closest to all of it, and it wasn't Narcos. It was like Narcias or something. I don't know.
It's like a Mexican
Joe Rogan,
Spanish show, right?
Huh?
It's like a Mexican show or Spanish.
It's actually
or
in Spanish,
Colombian or something.
So you have to use the subtitles.
Yeah, but I mean,
I didn't watch
pretty crazy.
But he said that like of all of the ones, like this one kind of follows it.
Yeah,
like, the closest. What is that? What is that? You said that was a tea?
No, it's iced coffee.
Oh, okay. It looks really thick.
It looks like chocolate milk or something, I guess.
Yeah, that's what exactly. It looks that thick. It looks like.
It's probably just a camera. It's actually pretty wide. There's ice in it. Oh man.
Oh, I wanted a beer, but I can't because I have to take antibiotics for my cat bite.
You should just call it a shark bite.
That's what someone else told me. He's like, man, you shouldn't be telling people that's a cat bite. You should like you got bit by a rattlesnake or something.
I know. You're just walking around and be like, I got bit by my cat. At least dog. Say dog or something.
Yeah.
Cat
Dog.
bite.
But then I don't have a dog. I have to lie that I have a dog for the rest of my life. Like,
no, just just don't say your dog. Just say I got bit by a dog.
Okay. Yes. Oh, what happened? Where at? You going to court? You suing them? No, they just gave me $1,000. I could roll with it.
Oh, that reminds me. Your story you told me back in high school when you're in a car accident with some guy and he offered to give you $1,000.
Oh, I told that story today to my coworkers.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That was at a gas station. I remember exactly which gas station. The one on Edinger and Beach. It's kind of a busy gas station.
Yeah. It's like the
right across
Mobile,
from
right?
Basically. I think so.
76 or Mobile, yeah.
76 or Mobile, yeah. Yeah, where I was going over there, I was filling up, and I just got in my car, and then he backed up into me. I was like, oh, what the hell? And I go out there and I check it out, and this guy's like freaked out. She's like, oh, like, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, don't call the cops. Don't call the cops. I was like, the first thing that came out of his mind. And I was like, what do you mean, don't call the cops? Like, we barely anything happened. Why am I dialing 911? And
Well, you're supposed to.
no, not with my car accidents like that.
No,
Like, if you can't get your
no. You're supposed to. I mean,
no, you don't
yeah.
have to call 911
No, because you
every
need
time you get an offender bender.
no, you need a police report because it
You
helps
don't.
with. Well, no, you don't need it, but it helps with your insurance. Because if you have a official there documenting,
Yeah, but if you're not going to go through insurance,
oh well, okay.
then
I guess
you
if
don't
you're
need to
not
call
going through
911.
insurance, but
Yeah,
you're
you go
supposed
through
to.
insurance with every single car accident you've been in. It must have been because
Well,
you've never had minor
well, no,
car
but
accidents.
you also want to defend yourself. If like, yeah, you're not gonna go insurance, but say they go insurance and they say it's your fault.
Well,
And
you
now,
always take pictures.
well, yeah, but the police reports like taking pictures, an extra security thing, where now you have an official statement from an officer
I would
at the
never
scene.
want to get in a minor fender bender with you.
Well,
I'd look at you like you're a complete dick if you were like, no, I am going to call 911. I'd be like,
well, I'll be chill
okay.
about it. It's just like, hey, I'm calling.
Yeah, but now there goes like an hour and a half, like filling out a police
No,
report. I'm
that happened.
going
That happened to
somewhere,
me.
You're going somewhere.
No, not
Now
an
I'm
hour and a
late for
half.
work.
That happened to me in my first accident. I mean, it's longer than like 5
How long
minutes.
did it take?
Probably like
30 minutes, 45 minutes.
probably 30 minutes, because he had to get there.
Exactly.
And then there was multiple parties. There was 3 parties total because a guy hit me and pushed me into another car, so he had to go from one party to the next, asking what
That's
happened.
a bigger deal.
Yeah,
That's a mess. That you have to get a police report because it's just a fucking mess.
yeah. The second accident I've been in, I didn't call the cops, but it's because I had to go to work.
See, that's what I'm saying. But how bad was the accident though?
The second one, one wasn't as bad.
I mean, did you guys look at it and be like, "Ah, we're cool"?
No, it's actually my car still has a dent from it. I didn't fix it.
Oh, it's dead.
And his car was slightly worse.
Piece of shit Toyota Camry.
No, it's this HRV.
Camry?
No, it's my HRV right now.
Oh,
Yeah, but my
HRV's fucked right now.
Pretty fucked. I mean, it's gone to 2 accidents at Eric's. Back when I was at Townhouse with Eric.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I closed the garage, and the garage has a huge stick sticking out, and I forget my trunk's up sometime, and it keeps scratching the trunk when it's up. Like it's up, and there's like a stick in the garage, and it just comes across and scratches it.
Oh
yeah.
Wow! So your garage basically like keyed your trunk.
Yeah, 3 times. It looks kind of cool. It looks like Wolverine attacked it.
Fucking idiot.
It's like 3 lines, almost like a perfect inch away from each other.
Because
every time.
They all went down like in a machine way.
Yeah, so
just slightly differently parked.
Yeah, so it looks kind of like Wolverine scratched my car, but yeah, so I pretty much don't give a shit about my car right now. I mean, it works still. I don't care about fixing it. It's gonna be shitty.
Bad.
It's mostly cosmetics. It's just the only thing that's not really cosmetics damage to my car is my front headlight. One of them on the driver's side. So that one's a little bit caved in, but it still works.
That's nothing.
I think it does a thing where it like knows something is wrong.
You just think it's ugly and you don't want it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want it anymore. I'm waiting for the Cybertruck.
Oh my god. I'm keeping my Mazda for like ever. 20 years if I can.
Really? You like it that much?
I don't care how much I like it. I like it enough to like at one point it's no longer gonna cost that much. It's like basically increasing. It's like a pay raise.
I'm pretty materialistic. I like savings.
I'm not material at all.
Stuff now,
my beard is my material.
Really? The fuck?
I'm like, oh, I got a cool beard. I'll mess with it. I'll oil it.
Oh no. I mean, luckily I have an excuse to buy stuff because of work. I'm actually looking to a light right now. Costs $2,000.
That's right. That's why your work you always buy like tech and stuff, and then like.
Yeah, but it's like I love it. It's like super
See, I don't have a
nerdy.
passion like that I don't get nerdy into like something like that.
Let me see. I'm checking literally on the light right now because it just came out and there were crazy back order so much where they wouldn't even let you order it, even though technically it's out because they don't want to like have a long wait list.
Would these use these kind of lights on Mulan?
They would use a more expensive, bigger version of it, but yeah.
Would the same? Do you think they would use the same? Does this brand that you're looking at right now, think I'm actually buying? Does this brand exist in?
Do you see it?
What brand is it? What brand is it? No, I don't see it. I only see the
Aperture. Here, let me open it up on. There's B and H. I guess I might as well share it.
Yeah, I might as well. I mean, we're talking about it. Let's see it.
I mean, it's not that interesting. I mean, it's interesting to me, but I wouldn't tell someone like you who's not in film about it.
Yeah, but I'm interested in seeing what you're talking about. I want to see what gets you hard.
This light.
Ooh.
Is this an actual video?
Feels like heavy duty.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, don't they hype it up?
It looks crazy.
You ever seen an ad like this for a light?
Nah, dude, I didn't know ads like this existed.
It's just for people in the industry.
Yeah, but you know what's funny is that this is like someone did this ad on their off time, but it's good because they're in the industry, so they kind of already know how to do kind of this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like if you were to do your own commercial for something that you made or something.
No, I watch a lot of like YouTubers and stuff on like filmmakers on YouTube, and their content's always has a lot more thought put into it than like normal vloggers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
this is the thing.
This is the thing. They would use bigger guys like this on Mulan, which is what we're talking about today. So we might as well just get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah. So what did you think of Mulan? I want to ask you first because I have very okay. Let me give you.
I talked to so many people about Mulan
today. Exactly, right? Like
I talked to so many, and I like to talk to different people about Mulan, so that when I talk to you, like my thoughts are a little more refined about it. I mean, I didn't like it immediately after watching it, and I still pretty much don't like it. But after talking to people, I realized I didn't hate it as much as I did.
Okay, I want to hear your story and the people, like what you've heard from people. But I didn't ask too many people, but I've talked to some people, and the people who have seen it, generally, most of them that I've personally talked to say they don't like it. I've seen some posts on Facebook and stuff saying they like it. Today, actually, similar to you, I reached out to Chinese friends and asked them if they've seen it and what they thought of it and stuff. Because I thought I was missing something. I'm like, no way a big property like this can just, personally, I feel is like literally the worst Disney thing ever I've seen in forever. Like,
you're talking about Mulan?
Yeah, I hated Captain Marvel, like I hated Lion King and everything, but this, I hated The Last Jedi, Star Wars, which again, it's also Disney.
Oh, no. So I don't hate this as much as I hate the Star Wars.
Okay, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
And I didn't watch one of the Star Wars completely.
Okay, the new ones, right?
Yeah, I saw enough to where I was like, this is absolute fucking garbage. I don't want to invest any of my time into it. So, anyways, that's just my hate for Star Wars, the new Star Wars.
Okay. Well, this is so bad, but I'm like, it's Mulan. Like, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe like it's Chinese legend or myth that is they're just being true to the source.
That's what I was thinking too going into it. I was like, maybe like they dug into the lore of Mulan actually more.
Yeah. Well,
maybe they did because I don't know the lore of Mulan, but
that's why I asked my Chinese friends who are like a little bit closer to the culture, and he. So, you know, I'm not Chinese, but like he pretty much said the same thing I thought. Or I'm like, for me, I'm like, this is not Chinese enough, but really I meant it's not Asian enough. And just from what I understand, like
you
by
thought it wasn't
default,
Asian
not
enough, and you
Chinese.
asked him basically, is it Chinese enough?
Yeah, yeah. Because like
Okay.
even though I'm Asian and I didn't feel the
Right,
connection to
right.
Mulan to Asian culture at all, but maybe it's just
Mhm.
because I don't quite understand Chinese culture,
Yeah.
and my Asian culture is more like Asian American, you know. So then
Right.
I asked them that, and they're like, "No, this is not." I have to, yeah, I have to pull up the IMDb because I am curious too for Mulan. Who
Have you seen it
freaking
before?
made it? Yeah. So real quick, let me just before I get into my whole rant, I want to ask, like, go back to why you didn't think maybe it was too bad, and your people you've talked to said they were fine. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's going on with that?
Um. So first, I didn't like it, and I didn't like it at first because it tried to be both old Mulan and new Mulan.
Mm-hmm.
It tried to be a mix, and I wanted it to be choose one direction or the other. And I was trying to explain this to you, like the little bit we did talk about it before doing this. Um, I was trying to explain this a little bit to you, but I really couldn't. It's like, screw it, I'll figure it out later. But I wanted Mulan, like, I wanted it to either be exactly like the old cartoon one with Mushu and everything. So once I knew there was no Mushu, I was like, it's not going to be old Mulan, period. And me not liking it is the chances of me liking it is like 15%.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mushu was almost all of old Mulan. There was a lot of good in other Mulan, but Mushu to me and most of the people that I know who also really loved Mulan, Mushu was it. There were so many good characters on Mulan too. It was the whole movie was great. Mulan is a fabulous, one of my top Disney movies. Period. Um, but Mushu was
I
what
mean, the music was
main thing.
good.
So when I realized, and the music's amazing in Mulan and everything, so there's nothing bad about the cartoon Mulan. Period. So it's hard to even be close to it.
Yeah.
But it when I knew there's no Mushu, I knew it wasn't gonna follow the cartoon. I knew I wasn't gonna like it that much. But when it started going through, they did things that were exactly like the cartoon, just to say like, oh, like their Easter eggs weren't Easter eggs.
Yeah, they were like they. It's like, yeah,
They're like, oh,
exactly.
here's a throwback to Mulan. I was like, no,
No, it's like
you're
almost
making it. It's
Major
almost
Beats is
exactly what you're
Mulan.
doing.
Yeah, I was telling Ian similar to you. Like, I knew there's a witch and I knew there was no Mushu, so I'm like, don't compare this to regular Mulan or the cartoon Mulan and
Right,
everything.
just make it your different interpretation. And at the end of the day, what I learned from talking to all those people through the week,
Yeah.
the word interpretation was the word I was missing to telling you how I thought about it. I
Okay.
wish, because I was saying writing. Remember, I'm not saying writing. I wish they wrote it differently or whatever. I was
What
saying
were
that a
the
lot.
ethnicities of the people you talked to? Were any of them Asian?
One was my mom's roommate who was a white guy, and one was my a Mexican coworker. And then the other one was my coworker who's also Hispanic and Cuban.
So no Asians. Okay.
And no Asians. But these are people. I mean, if you want to say what did this movie mean to the Asian culture, that's another question.
No,
Um,
no. Okay, no, no. But go
but
on.
if
I
you
don't
want
want
to
to
say
say
what
their
this movie
opinions. I
looked
don't
like
want.
in general,
Yeah.
um,
I don't want to say their
in
opinions invalid, but it does put into context for me, like for what you're about to say, like what they said. So yeah.
mhm. Well, they just honestly, one didn't, one guy didn't watch it, but he just kind of talked about um, his thoughts on it, and so I just said I was able to refine my thoughts with him because we did talk about Mulan, even though he didn't watch it, so we didn't compare,
Mhm.
scene from scene. One watched it, she liked it. My coworker, she liked it.
The one who
Um,
has seen it.
the Cuban one who did see it, yeah,
Yeah.
who we had some talks about it. I forget exactly like the points she brought up, but um,
But did it
she
convince
liked
you?
it.
Did it sway you? Did you like,
At the
oh
end of
yeah,
the at
maybe?
the end of the conversation, I was convinced, like, oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right. It wasn't as terrible as I was like. Because when I told her, I was like, it's terrible. Like, don't even waste your time. She's like, I already watched it, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, what did you think? And so she told me I didn't think it was that bad, and I was like, oh, really? Why? And then I forget the exact nitty gritty of the conversation. But at the end of the day, I was like, you're right. You're right. Okay, maybe it wasn't like terrible.
How about the other guy?
Um,
After this
uh,
conversation, after you talk to me,
oh, the
I'm
other guy.
pretty sure
The
I'll
other
sway
guy.
you back. I think I'll pull you back, and you'll be like, okay, maybe it was that bad.
Um,
I'm going to rant, man.
the other guy. The other guy. The other guy. He liked it, and I said a whole bunch of points why I didn't like it, and he said the ending he really liked. So he actually really liked it. Um,
For me,
the Cuban girl, she liked it, but she didn't think it was like the best.
there wasn't a single redeeming quality about it for me. Even with shit movies I liked, I was like, there's always that, and I think we talked about this a little bit before. There's always like a moment, oh, if they changed this, or if this didn't happen, or they just did something else with this character or their relationship or whatever, like it could have been better. There's literally like they couldn't just change one aspect, took out a character or made a character a little bit different or anything, and like redeemed it for me. Like,
Well, the whole general, like, okay, the guy who she's supposed to be in love with in Mulan and stuff like that, right?
mhm.
Like,
Donnie Yen.
that was all screwy in the whole movie. That was all screwy. Like, the love interest wasn't never obvious to me, and I get it was that one guy, but
Oh, that guy. They split
yeah,
the
but they made
general
the
into
three.
two different.
Yeah,
Because he's not a general. He's just another soldier.
he's just another soldier. But then she still has the three friends, and they still kind of do the water
Are they
scene.
friends?
What are we talking about?
Is she
Are they
friends
really
with any
friends?
any of them? Like,
I don't know, really.
did,
There was like no bond, but there was like
she
hardly
she
any
straight up
emotion.
said that she wasn't his friend in the water scene. I'm not your friend.
Yeah, she was just being emotional. Um, she was. They were friends. She obviously liked him, and
Did
it was all
she?
like,
I don't think so. At the end, she didn't
okay.
even hug
I
him.
didn't mean like him, but I mean, as a friend, she liked him. I think they were friends.
What did they do? How did they have each other back? How did they show companionship?
They showed a lot of respect for each other when they had that fight. After a fight like that, like after a duel and spar like that, you have respect and
I guess.
unspoken friendship with someone.
I,
You see all the time in the UFC.
okay,
Only in rare cases with a lot of shit talking don't you see it.
I mean,
Um,
I guess, but it's so artificial to begin with. It didn't even
well,
feel like a real
the whole
rivalry.
the whole movie had no connectivity from scene to scene as far as emotion goes. Like emotionally, the entire movie blowed.
Yeah.
I didn't feel any emotion to the
She
movie
never
at all.
smiled. The most she smiled was at the beginning when she was a kid.
Yes.
And she somehow had a perfect American English accent. And she grew up and lost it all.
So crazy.
that's my theory, and I'm pretty sure it's true. The reason why she actually didn't speak a lot is because she's a Chinese actress and her English is pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've heard all the drama and crap about him, right?
I've heard about it, but I don't even want to. I don't want to politicize this. I mean,
Okay.
you could. I mean, I get why people are, but like, I want to just kind of take it as a movie and like a cultural thing. But like, I don't know. There's so much controversy right now.
Yeah.
Why?
That's
What do you think
it,
about it? About
about
the
what?
about the controversial
The
thing with
drama?
the lead. Her name is
Oh
Yiffei
no, I'm not talking about
Liu.
that. I'm talking about where like it was partially filmed and what they do with the credits. I don't know anything really about
Oh,
the actress stuff like that. I don't
that
that sounded like stupid bullshit.
No, okay. So it was filmed in a region
And
that
she said something, and then everyone's like,
I know you're talking about, right? It was filmed in
who gives
some
a fuck about
region
that?
where there was a lot of like human slavery type things or human rights issues. Um,
That's
and they credited and thanked a huge organization there for letting them film there and
they
shit.
credited Xinjiang or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's
Um,
I heard
where it's
about
been
that and
accused of human rights abuses against like Muslim minorities and Uyghurs or something.
okay.
Um,
Well, the other controversial thing with Yefiu Liu, I think that's how you say something like that. That's her name.
is that her name? Is that
Yeah,
the
it's
main actor's
Mulan.
name?
Yeah, that's the
Oh, okay, I see it
adult
on your.
Mulan.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so apparently she's in support for the police in the Hong Kong riots. So you've heard about the Hong Kong
Oh
riots,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. So that's right. She said something about that.
Yeah, but then there's another
Well, you
news
don't know the
thing.
story of the police
Yeah, well, there's
of
a
Hong
news thing.
Kong.
Well, no, so the current situation in Hong Kong is that Hong Kong was British colony, and then
Right, it was colonized,
yeah, and then it was
and then
given
it
back to China, and then now China said, yeah, you'll
basically
be part
went
of
back to.
China and stuff, but we'll let you be your own free state type thing. But
Mhm.
now they're kind of trying to, you know, put in trying to
Chinese
control
military
them a
and
bit
government.
more, control journalism, free speech, and stuff like that.
Well, there's a big fight for the politics and governing of that city. So
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. But anyway, so that's
But you never know
why.
how what the police are like. He's saying like everyone's like, oh, hate against the police, thinking that the police are part of the Chinese military or something like that. You don't know. The police could just be like the police here, and they're just doing what
No. I mean, yeah, they're being doing.
their superior. They could be they could be guys with part who live in the city. They're just doing the police job because they have to pay
Yeah,
their bills.
yeah, but the consensus is that Hong Kong's leader right now is pretty much a puppet for the mainland China. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so anything related to government, like the police, is seen, especially when they're breaking up riots, kind of like BLM here and stuff like that. Like we kind of
Mhm.
associate it to like government's trying to control us. You know, they are technically just doing
Yeah.
their job, but like,
Yeah.
so that's but they're
Your
ours is a
daddy yells
little.
at you and you get mad.
Yeah, but they're fighting for like their independence versus here we're fighting for like like the black community and stuff like that, equal opportunity or like equal rights and stuff. But they're like
Mhm.
actually fighting for the independence, like they could
Like to be
become
able to use
communist
the internet
China.
freely,
Yeah, exactly, things like that. Like it's it's something that affects everyone.
to not be fed fake news
Yeah, although
constantly.
BLM and stuff affects everyone here too, but yeah, it's a different situation
It
slightly.
is, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a different situation.
But anyways, that's a whole controversial thing with her. But then the other thing is now there's word coming out
One
saying
is a
that
revolution, one is a civil movement.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But there's controversy now because they're saying that she was actually pressured to like show support by mainland China to show support for the police, like manipulated and shit.
Hmm.
Um I don't know. I don't quite understand communism China or communism in general, like societies. But my parents
Hmm.
do, and like every time we talk about it, they're like, you didn't grow up in it, you don't understand how bad they are. Like they see him as like the the devil, pretty much. It's crazy. Like
Yeah.
like they I mean they took a tiny little boat across freaking
Your
huge
parents came from South
oceans.
Vietnam, right?
I think my parents, I think South after they got together, but I know they came from
After they
different
got together. Well, but
regions.
they
Like they
both
grew up in
lived the
different.
life
Yeah,
because they how old are they? They're like 50s or 60s?
I want to say 60s. My mom's younger, so my
60s.
mom's probably like mid late 50s. But yeah,
So they're born in the 60s probably. And the Vietnam War
I mean they came here when
year.
they were young. Like my
Well, I just want to
uncles
see
were
what
like
time the
still in
Vietnam
high
War
school
was
and
going
stuff.
on.
70s
How old
something.
they were. Vietnam War.
Vietnam. Start date was November 1955. You went in.
I don't know why it was giving me such weird.
It ended in 75, April 30th, 75.
So 75 and to what?
Ah, that's a 20-year war. God, fuck.
How long? Oh, so 65 to 85?
No, 55 to 75.
Okay, so your parents were
They
born in the
they were
60s.
born in it. They were born in the war, pretty much, like during the
They were
war.
born during the war.
Yeah.
And if it was a 20-year war, and they're born somewhere in the 60s, and it was on all the way to 75, so they had at least lived at least
I
probably
don't
like
know when they immigrated and when they escaped.
I would say like 5 memorable years of it.
No, I think they escaped during the end of the war. So like
That's the worst
in the
time.
70s.
You know what they're doing at the end of the war?
No, what?
So North won, and so they went all the way down to Saigon, all the way down to the last city. And
no, I think
what
that's
they're doing is they're sending people to re-education camps.
No, I think that's why. Like, you know, yeah. So what? You're in a war. This is our home, right? They'll stay there. I think they lost the war. They realized they were losing the war and stuff.
No, they did lose the war.
Well, yeah. But I mean, I'm talking about like in the moment. They're like realizing it, and that's when they decide that we have to escape. Like, there's no choice. We have to leave our home.
Leave now.
Yeah.
Well,
So they did
family,
escape later in the war. Yeah.
Chris's family. Chris said that his grandma, who they had for a long time, who probably was an adult when the war started.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, that was my grandma.
They owned a restaurant, and they left with a whole bunch of gold bars and came to the USA. Like, they were actually considered rich in Vietnam.
Shit.
And Chris said they had a whole bunch of gold bars like stored away.
Fucking Asians.
It's crazy.
That's what Asian people believe in. They don't believe in like systems. They just believe in we have money. We'll just dig a hole and throw it on there and
shove it in there.
Pull it out when we need. Yeah, that's legit. Like they're like in cash in like sofas or like mattresses and shit.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So completely different. Communism gets pretty crazy because what they started doing is that there's like, oh, basically, if you were part of the South in any way, they'll put you in re-education camps, to re-enter society as a North, or the new Vietnamese, which is basically all Vietnam. And basically, it was just labor camp, and people died in them all the time.
I bet. I mean,
especially the soldiers were killed on the spot. The civilians were lucky and had the choice to go to labor camps or be killed or something. But I know they basically sent them all to like re-education camp.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but that's why.
Apparently, you could go now. Like, so what's the situation over there now? I don't know.
From the friends and stuff that I know there, pretty cool. They're pretty modern. It's not like a third world country or anything. It's like they're pretty developed, especially in like the cities. So like the rural areas are still, it's just a countryside. But then like in the major cities, they're pretty developed.
That's pretty cool. I would love to go to Vietnam, only because I'm more involved with the Vietnamese culture than I am with any other Asian culture.
Yeah.
So like Vietnam is like,
I would be interested.
Oh, I know a few things. Like it's
a lot of like growing up, it was like the only time you would hear about like Vietnam really is obviously from your parents and stuff, and you'll only hear about the horrors, like how shitty it is to live there.
Growing up,
I don't.
All of a sudden, like,
well, I don't know. Like
everyone gets to talk. No, like because everyone gets to talk about Mexico, soccer, and everyone's stoked and has all this pride for their country. And then like every time you hear about your country, it's like, well,
I didn't.
You just see fucked up old white people.
Like, I didn't think about it.
That's like the stereotype of your country.
No, I didn't think about it, dude.
America.
I just didn't think about it. I was like, well, I was a kid, like I've never been Vietnam. I don't feel like I feel Vietnamese, like part of the community, but like I'm more American, and like you'll hear something, you're like, oh, whatever, that doesn't. I don't care. Like, like why would a kid care about that? So then,
getcha.
But I do remember talking to like in high school. Remember like Anthony Tran and stuff. Some of the
Anthony
kids.
Tran.
Yeah, some of the kids that grew up in Vietnam. And,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and then he was just telling me horror stories again, and I was like, okay, it's crazy, dude.
Confirmed.
Yeah, he was telling me about like
That's what everyone says it is.
he told me his friend got stabbed for like looking at a girl that like in some pho shop or something. Not by the girl, like by her boyfriend or some other dude or something. But yeah, I just hear I'm like, okay, I don't want to go to Vietnam. It just seems crazy.
Juan goes every now and then.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think he has like a farm to go to because every time he goes, he talks about the cows and shit that he goes and visits.
Yeah.
So it's like either you have farmland where like the city has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, Lon's a country boy. You know, he actually talks kind of like a country.
He does.
Guy too. I don't know.
I think he
like
just seems very country.
An Asian redneck.
He is an Asian redneck.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I call him Larnold because he has that very like when we play shooters and FPSs, he has that very like I'm the first one in kind of mentality, and he has that when we're paintballing too.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Actually, he likes to be the medic in paintballing. Yeah, old Arnold.
I don't know. I don't want to explain it, but
But,
it's definitely a little bit more rednecky.
Yeah. So it didn't even hit the Chinese marker either, then, huh? According to
Mulan.
You know who you've talked to.
No. So they agreed. Here, let me pull out my text message and see what they said, and. Let's see. Do I ask my friend to be like, you know, just hey, what do you think of it? He sent me such a long paragraph. Multiple paragraphs. It's very well written.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Grocery store essay, huh?
I mean the main thing that was specific to I agreed. Like I was going to talk about everything. You know, he thought about how the Phoenix was stupid. He's like,
Phoenix was super dumb. I feel like if they would have just made the Phoenix part of her decision making in some kind of way,
yeah,
it would have been cool. Because that's the cool thing about Mushu, right? He was a spirit. He was a guardian.
Yeah,
he helped her guide through these decisions and stuff like that. The Phoenix was like a symbol, but it was also supposed to be like.
Here's my thing, right? So I thought the spirit was like a guardian, and when she got first interacted with that witch, like she got hit by shuriken and knocked into a wall, I thought she like died, and then the spirit revived her cause Phoenix, like she was reborn. So I thought she was actually dead, and like she was reborn. I thought that was a metaphor.
I don't think she actually died.
That's what Ian said.
Phoenix. Huh?
That's what Ian said, but
I thought it was supposed to be her breast wrap saved her.
And then
Phoenix was like it was like a miracle. So like miracles aren't like miracles aren't like your heart stopped and I'm bringing you from the dead, like I'm raising you from the dead kind of thing. Miracles are like you almost died, but I slightly changed the factors to physics to make it
Dude, but that's stupid. It'll be less stupid if the Phoenix actually did something and saved her. If the Phoenix literally did nothing and we were just shown this thing for like.
Wait, so then I'm not remembering the scene properly. Then the Phoenix saved her.
No. It wasn't obvious. It was she got hit by a hurricane. She like blacked out, and the next thing you know, she's like waking up and the Phoenix is there. That's it. Like there was no Phoenix didn't hover over her and like nothing glowed and
the Phoenix Slayer.
Yeah, she woke up and like the Phoenix was like flying away. That was the.
But that's not. Yeah, so that's. I still don't think the Phoenix did anything. Period. And I don't think.
But that's why I was like, that's stupid. Like, if the Phoenix really did do anything, like, what the? It's just like, look at this metaphor, guys. Yeah. It's a metaphor. It's.
Think of it of you as you will. You
know?
It's, like,
it's deep.
It's like those things about. It's like the whole. What was it? What's that move? That's that stupid book that they had you read in high school, Catcher in the Rye.
I actually didn't read
Some
that.
okay, regardless. Anyway,
Yeah.
so there's big controversy. The book was banned because everyone was saying it's such a bad book. You actually read it. It's just about this kid who gets like sad and learns about what losing your innocence is about by like ordering a hooker but not actually sleeping with her. I don't remember, or even if he does, like so what?
Uh-huh.
And apparently, like everyone's like, "Oh, this book should be banned," and blah blah blah, anarchy. Like this is
No,
blah
you
blah blah. Like they're
should.
so crazy. And then it became common knowledge that the guy who killed John Lennon or was inspired by it became even crazier and like
Uh
all so
no,
people teach
you gotta
people
remember,
teach on
man.
this book.
We like grew up with TVs in our bedroom.
Yeah, I
Imagine
understand.
imagine a movie came out, a Disney
But my
movie, where a
point is,
kid
well, it's the same thing. Their books are our movies.
Yeah. So like if you
So
wouldn't you
that's
be
what
outraged if your kid
my
was
point.
watching
So
some
the
other
point,
kid hiring a hooker? If you had a
for what?
son and he's like 7 years
No, but it
old.
wasn't a kid who did it. It was an adult who did it.
Oh, in the book?
But the kid was like 17, 18.
Oh.
So it was like he was just becoming of adulthood
Uh-huh.
and he did it.
I see. I see.
And like it was like, oh,
I
lost
can
my
understand
innocence.
that in a more controversial, like a more conservative time. You know,
Right.
even
And
that,
I
like,
understand that too, but it being like so severe that like the book needs to be banned, all kind of stuff. Anyways, and then South Park did a thing on it. You know, you ever
mhm.
watched that South Park episode where Butters is like, kill John Lennon,
I
kill John
I
Lennon after they
remember
write that
that.
nasty book,
I remember
right?
that. Yeah.
So what they're saying is in South Park is that people will come up with their own interpretations of the book themselves.
Hmm.
So people came up with like this interpretation for this book, and everyone's like, "Yo, brilliant! What a genius idea of the What a brilliant genius interpretation of that book!" And
Uh-huh.
then they all say and back that interpretation. So you could start getting tribal with certain interpretations of things,
I see.
and that's what happened with that book. Because when you actually read that book and you're honest with yourself, you're like, "Oh, it's just a kid who pays for a hooker." Like there had to be darker books in that time period, you know. There had to have been darker written books than that.
Hmm.
Like, why would that book be banned and shouldn't be sold at stores? And so stupid.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Well, Mulan should be banned because it's shit.
It is garbage.
I've talked to some people. I'm like, hey, did you watch it yet?
But moments in Mulan like that, um, moments like that, they leave up for interpretation for people to take it in a way like, it meant so much to me in my life right now.
Whatever.
You know, like they
The movie
leave it
was
open. Look at the
trash.
phoenix, and they're like, "Oh, my life is the
All
phoenix,"
right,
just
all
like what it
right.
says.
You wanna hear my
The
whole
movie is
spiel?
connecting with me, and then I just look at it like, "The fuck does the phoenix mean?" You tell me. I don't want to be brain dead watching this movie and enjoying it. I don't want to be thinking about. I don't watch this movie to have a reflection or look in the mirror reflection of my life.
Yeah. Well, do you want to hear my whole spiel? It'll be
Yeah, let's
long.
hear
I'll
it.
probably I'll
Sure,
probably
bro.
repeat some things that I've already mentioned, but
Just go for it.
so I think the main thing is that going back, like n- nothing, like none of the characters connected with me or anyone. Like Mulan never smiled, pretty much never.
Yeah,
Like
coincides with what I said as being no emotion.
yeah, like in the first movie, they did a really good job because like part of Asian culture is like the idea of family, and how important family
Mhm.
is. Obviously, like, it has to do with her sacrifice for her dad, you know, and
Yeah,
that's what the movie is
ultimately
should
is about.
mainly be about. That's what the first one was about.
But
Even
the
though
only like, did they even do a flashback to the family? They only did like one flashback to the
it was
family.
the worst flashback ever. Like I talked to
I
Ian,
don't recall the
I
flashback really.
okay, I'll let you know, but I'll talk about it in a second. I'll describe it. But when we were watching it, I actually, with that flashback, I verbally went, "What the fuck?" and told Ian, like, "What is this? Why is this flashback happening?" So what the flashback is so she steals the armor and the sword and stuff from her family, and she runs
Right,
away, and
right.
then she's out in the forest, whatever, alone. She's on her journey, and she's
Right.
being emo and sad because that's just who
Right.
she is. Like she never
Yeah.
smiles, and
FML.
yeah, and then you know, bam, flashback, and now she's in the bedroom of her parents wearing the like her parents are sleeping. She's wearing the armor, like looking at them, and like it's supposed to be like a goodbye. And I'm like, why the fuck are we flashing back to like 2 minutes ago? No, really. I was just like the only scene
I
between
didn't
it.
catch that, but I remember there being weird stuff like that.
It
Where
was
I was
just
like,
like I was like the only thing that happened was that she rode her horse down the street into the forest, and then the flashback happens, and I'm like, why didn't we just see that?
it was a flashback now.
Why why didn't you just take that
It would have been a good
flashback?
flashback if they used it later, way later.
Not even. They should have just taken that scene and put it 2 minutes
the-
sooner when she
and
was
when she was
actually
leaving.
leaving. Like, why?
Yeah. To make the journey seem longer than it actually was.
I hated that. But like, so yeah, so that was like the only. She like, so we actually went back and watched the first Mulan, or the cartoon Mulan,
I only watched
and
it once.
and you know there was like so many scenes with her dad. She's like pouring tea for her dad. It's a very Asian thing to do. Like you pour tea to your elders, right? She was pouring tea to her dad. She was like, you can really see the bond. She's actually smiling. You can tell they had a good father-daughter relationship. Versus this one, opening scene, she's all happy, and then dad's like, no, bad girl, bad. You can't use your witch powers. What the fuck? Like, I'm like, is that supposed to be like fatherly love? Okay, whatever. And then it cuts to when she's an adult and she's already emo the whole time. She never smiles, even like during the matchmaker scene, doesn't care. Her father like is angry at her all the time because they didn't really have a lot of scenes together. But when they did, it was just like her. It's just like, you dishonor me because she spoke out, and that happened in the original Mulan too. But like the difference was that,
but it wasn't to that extent, really.
yeah, it was more like,
even though I think the Disney one tried to really give it, to be fair, I think Disney cartoon one tried to make the dad seem as much of a dick as possible without being out of Disney's kind of
no, he wasn't a dick at all.
realm of comfort.
He wasn't a dick at all. He was only a dick when
in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, at the beginning, the only time he was a dick, and kind of a dick, not even really, in
because he
the
was
cartoon.
really sad to see her go. And
no, but it was when they came in and they called their family, and Mulan stopped him, like argued, it's like, hey, he's old, like he's already fought a couple wars for you, and then he's just disappointed. He's like, you know, like you challenged my honor and stuff like that. It's just like, I want to go, and that's the only time he was kind of a dick, but not really, right? And that happened in the live action too, but the difference in the live action is there's just none of the other scenes that makes him likable. One of the scenes in the cartoons that was great was that he was praying for her. Because for the matchmaking scene, like, you know, good luck for my daughter. It's her, you know, chance to like marry a good man or whatever.
Yeah, that was a really nice scene in the actual Mulan.
Yeah, so he was praying for her, and she came up, and she had like a cheat sheet on her arm and everything, and she was like being clumsy.
She had more personality in the cartoon.
Yeah,
Mulan, you know? Just so much more. The actual Mulan persona and the cartoon one was so complex and likable, and this one was just like, you kind of want to poke her with a stick and be like, do something.
Yeah, exactly.
Do something.
I wish
do something that will make me like you.
Why didn't they just made like her more optimistic self when she was a kid, like transition to her adult life too?
Awkwafina should have played Mulan.
Well, Awkwafina is a little bit too, I don't know, street.
She could have pulled it off.
She's too street for if Mulan took place. She could have pulled it off, and Disney should have done this. Got Awkwafina, made it a live action contemporary Mulan taking place in modern day. That would have been dope. Or maybe not modern day, but like, you know, more, because it wouldn't make sense for like soldiers and stuff like that. But anyways, like if it took place in like the 1900s.
Awkwafina, but they train, like, she's like, hey, Awkwafina, you're gonna have to really test your serious acting here. Like,
no, fuck that.
Funny, like,
no,
I know you're funny, like 80% of the time, 90% of the time, 100% of the time, all your other stuff. But this time you're going to be 80% serious, but we really want you to be Aquafina on the 20%.
Actually, Aquafina made
think,
her own movie where she was playing. It was a drum. It wasn't a comedy at all. It was a drama. It was her. It's like indie type thing. Yeah.
So she maybe been able to pull it off.
Yeah.
So she would have been 80% serious of the whole movie, which would be hard for her because she's normal, or maybe I don't know how acting is. Maybe it's not hard.
Yeah.
But it would have been different for her type of movie style. But I think she would have pulled it off because I think she would have pulled off that very likable Mulan characteristic. When
she should have been more funny. I would like her and Disney. Like if Aquafina was in it, like I would want it to be funny, and I still like. I wish this Mulan was more comedic. I think
you only need 20% of Aquafina for the entire movie to be funny.
Yeah, well, that's one of my thing too. Is that she's depressed all the time. Like none of the characters are funny, especially after the training training camp.
None of the soldiers were really that funny.
They were super forced, like comedy.
Yeah, they're kind of weird to me. It was kind of like.
I'm like, we get it. This guy always hugs his neighbor when he's sleeping.
He's the fat lovey one. We get it. He's the fat lovey one from the cartoon.
I'm like, yeah, is that supposed to be?
I know you really wanted to put that nail in the coffin, or nail the pin.
Yeah.
That this is the fat friend who's really cuddly and stuff like that. But then they didn't make the other two any distinguishable from which ones were the other two. It's like, okay, you're gonna make one distinguishably the fat cuddly one, but you're not gonna distinguish the other two. Did you realize which one was the muscly one, the short muscly one, and which one was the tall skinny one? Was that distinguished at all? I don't think so. I couldn't tell by the personalities.
Yeah, I mean, if this Mulan was supposed to be more inclusive, because that's it's a very feminist film.
Why was it a very? Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, look at the lead witch.
Sorry, I asked.
Yeah.
The witch alone.
Yeah, everything about her just Mulan, of course, she's a even in a cartoon feminist icon, but especially with the witch,
also why the old Mulan one is better because she just did it.
Well, I was gonna say the ending at the whole Empire or Palace, Imperial Palace. At the ending of the cartoon, remember all her friends. Actual friends, not this shitty Mulan where they're just soldiers in the same army, but her actual friends dressed up as concubines in the cartoon. And I'm like, if they just did that here, that would be super inclusive. That's
it would have been super cool.
Yeah, and it would have been a very natural. They can play for comedy, just like the
it's like they intentionally didn't play for comedy except that weird guy.
The bigger guy that always hugs people.
Yeah. What else? What other comedy
I don't know.
Did they take?
Oh, there was such a bad line when they were I don't know why to even add this scene. I think they just realized that, oh shit, we didn't show these guys actually be friendly with each other yet. It was Mulan sitting around a campfire and they were all just talking and what was the stupid line? Mulan was like, "Oh, I will only want to kill you. I love you guys."
Or what was the don't worry, I'll protect you guys. And then she's shaking, and then she covers it up, and it's real serious. Actually, it was a really good scene. And then then it got weird when she's like, "It's up to you. I'll kill you,
or I'll let you die, or something."
Yeah, and it was kind of weird.
The whole thing was weird. That was especially weird because that's kind of a joke you would tell between real bros, at a very personal relationship.
Not people that you're lying to, because that scene that they were talking about right there was actual war scene.
Yeah, but there was no other scene to show that they were even friendly.
No. But what I'm saying is that scene right there was actual war scene, but then that line to that joke of that friend was maybe it was just the lack of acting that just made it.
No, that scene just sucked. It just sucked.
I liked the portion of that. That was one of the better scenes. That and the ending scene with the father were the two best scenes of the whole movie.
That scene would only work if you establish that they were actually friends, genuine friends, and that they've gone through a lot of hardship together, which they have not yet. The battle hasn't even started yet. So it has to be like Saving Private Ryan, where they've gone through so much shit together, and now this is their Eye of the Hurricane, their moment of peace before the storm, and then it reinforces their bond, and then shit goes to hell in the next scene. That's the only way it would have worked, but they didn't earn it. They didn't do any of that tough, like go through the war, like, we lost friends and stuff, but we can still be optimistic together. Like, there was none of that. So like they didn't earn it. That scene just came out of nowhere, and you're like, they weren't friends, so now they're friends, I guess, sure, whatever. And it happened pretty quick.
Boot camp, I guess boot camp makes you bros. You think about
but
it. It was just,
but if
so
you showed the boot camp
makes you bros, so the writing makes sense, but
it didn't show in boot camp. It didn't show that other than the one fight scene. But like they just
but the writing is that technically
I guess
this point. But yes, the scenes and the directing of showing what directing of showing what you're going to show and the editing of it, you hardly got anything. So you had no attachment to them actually being bros. You're like, they just still seem like strangers. That was a failure of directing and screenplay and like.
No, so I do want to talk about. There's so much more I want to talk about Mulan, but like we can talk about the freaking. All right, so I'm on. Let me swap over to the IMDb. So let's look at the director. Nikki Caro. She's super white from New Zealand, and born 67, whatever. It's just some random white chick. All right, whatever.
United States?
No, New Zealand. She was born in New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Let's see here. The writer Rick Jaffa. Who's this guy? I think he's a white dude. Yeah. I mean, there's only one photo of him on IMDb, but the photo also has like 4 people in it total, so I don't know which one he is. But born in Dallas, Texas. I'm pretty sure.
I'm assuming he's one with the nice hair.
Yeah, whatever. I'm pretty sure he's not Asian. Amanda Silver, another writer. Same photo. She's also one of the chicks in here. One of these 2 ladies, not Asian. Let's see, 2 more credits. Where is this? See, okay, there's another Elizabeth Martin and Lauren Hynek. She's white.
So the main people are white people.
Yeah, so 3 white writers and 1 Asian writer who has 4 credits to her name. And Grace, is she Asian? I don't think she's Asian. Is she? I don't think she's Asian.
No, you said 1 Asian. I said
no.
White.
Oh, yeah, so it's all white dudes, or I guess 2 girls, 2 ladies. I think these are it.
2 guys.
So the photos, yeah. So there's 4 credits. These are the 4.
That's all of them.
Yeah, this is all of them. So 2 of them. So these are all the writers of Mulan.
Absolute fucking terrible movie.
Yeah. So white director, 4 white writers. Okay. The cinematographer is also a white lady.
Donnie Yen? Hold on, time up. Which actor was Donnie Yen? Because I didn't recognize him, and I realized afterwards that it was. And I've watched all the IP Mans like twice.
Ip Man.
Here's the commander. Okay.
Ip Man. IP Man. He's the internet superhero. He's the one that's gonna save us from a worldwide blackout. No, Ip Man. Donnie Yen. Yeah. So he was the general. Not the. He's the general. It's kind of confusing. Like, there's 2 generals and there's the emperor, which is Jet Li. If you didn't recognize him, he kind of gained some weight, a lot of freaking facial hair and stuff. But so Donnie Yen, Ip Man, was one of the main generals. There was 2 generals. One of them was just kind of there to like scream at the soldiers, and the other one was Donnie Yen. He was the one that like was talking to Mulan, called Mulan to his tent quite a bit. Be like, I have a son or a nephew or whatever that I want to, or no, a daughter, or not a niece or daughter or whatever. There, because he thinks Mulan's a dude. Like, I want to introduce you to back in my village. That.
Oh yeah, okay. And he's like, I would be honored.
Yeah. So that's Donnie Yen. He didn't do anything. Fucking, you have a legend like Donnie Yen. You stick him in like fat armor and just have him walk around, talk.
Yeah.
I don't think he even really walked around. He just sat in his tent.
So what else do you think about this?
Well, how the fuck do you have so many white writers and white filmmakers making an Asian movie? Could you imagine if Black Panther you know, like
Was
rest in
it
peace,
Black Panther
child.
made of white people?
No, everyone was black.
Really?
Yeah, let me look at Black Panther right now.
I mean, I know all the actors were black.
Everything was black. Ryan Coogler, black man. Look at him.
He wrote.
He's a
So what was
director.
his credit on it?
He's a director. He's also one of the writers.
Okay.
Joe Robert Cole, the other writer.
Oh, okay.
Um, Stan Lee, of course, he gets
Stanley,
credited,
okay.
and then Jack Kirby, which is also again Marvel Comics. So it's because it's based on Marvel Comics. I think that's why they got credited.
They considered their writing credits.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was actually the actual movie was made by black people.
Yeah, and then let me
But
see.
it was just based on white people comics.
Let's see. Cinematography was by Rachel Morrison. She's actually did she do Mulan? I think she might have done Mulan too. Let's see, where on the cinematographer of Mulan is no Mandy Walker. Okay, it's totally different. Okay, but yeah, so yeah, they have black creators, and it's about black culture, all like African black culture, pretty much, right? And Mulan's the same. It's Chinese culture. Like one of the biggest issue with my, you know, when I asked my Chinese friends about Mulan, they're like, it's not Chinese, it's not Asian, and that's the same thing. I was like, it's not Asian enough, and they're like, specifically, it's not Chinese enough. Like, freaking, you know, like Black Panther has a straight up African accent or some type. I'm not sure if it's like fictionalized, but it's definitely inspired
Maybe a little
by
more dramatized. But I think I'm sure they did their research and tried to get as close to like a certain base.
Yeah, there was an interview with Chadwick Boseman. Man, like he was like he like wanted to work hard for like cancer kids. It was pretty sad, but Chadwick was just saying like, you know, he wanted to work on his accent and make sure the movie can be the best it's gonna be and stuff like that. Mulan, fucking, you know, they told him speak in as clear English as you can. It had like the slightest faint, and I know the cartoons, like their English was pretty solid too. It wasn't that Chinese when it comes to their accent, but like still, like it's different when you do a live action, and especially during this time, right? So like you got to make it more Chinese, man. Like somehow nothing felt Chinese. It felt like white. So, you know, I talked to you, you know, off like a few days ago about this, right? Where it was like it felt like really a whitewashed version of Chinese culture. Like you see their architecture and you copy it real quick, and you know, you understand some culture thing where it's all about family, but then you twist it to American to reflect American ideals. Because, well, simple, they're not Asian. They don't understand. You can study as much about Asian culture as possible. You can even live there. But, like, unless you grew up in an Asian household with Asian parents and relatives and, you know, your, like, roots is in... Yeah, you're not going to get it. No way. Like, so, and that's why it threw me off so much, where, like, it just felt like, you know, their focus was more about feminism ideals, which is fine, but they totally threw the whole family idea to the back burner. It was supposed to be a heroic thing where Mulan sacrificed, like, you know, she risked everything for her dad and family, right? And, you know, even her honor. And honor is a big deal. And, like, fucking, they just threw the word...
honor that big a deal.
No, they just threw the word around, like, yo, you whatever, honor, blah blah blah, you dishonor us. Like, you didn't feel the impact
didn't feel
of
the
it.
Hurt.
Yeah,
you didn't feel like your honor was broken.
Well, it's because it's the movie's not Asian enough. Honor is a very Asian, you know, ideology.
It's a very high valued Asian currency.
Yeah, it's well, Asian value. It's one of the main things. It's honor and family, right? And they didn't emphasize that enough. So every time they talk about honor, you're just like, what the fuck? Like, who cares? You know, like, freaking, they did emphasize more on womanhood, which is fine, but like,
It was fine. They didn't go.
it was over the top for me. It was stupid. Like, fucking, she gets reborn by the Phoenix, like we talked about earlier, and the first thing she does is pull down her hair, takes off her armor because she's a woman, not a man. She doesn't need to hide her hair, even though.
Oh yeah, that was very.
Even though all the men had long hair and buns too. Like, what? Like, put down your hair just because.
I don't even hide it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, and
yeah,
then
why not? Why make it obvious?
yeah, and why take off your armor? You're in a freaking war. You're in the middle of a battle. You just got a hurricane shoved into your chest, or not a hurricane, a shuriken.
The free the bra people.
Like, no, that's again, they made it too much of a feminism thing again, which is fine, but like, it's a Chinese movie. Like, you got to put in the Chinese culture into it. You know, the only one of my other complaints my friends had was like, there was no Chinese character. The only thing that was Chinese was a sword. It had like 3 characters on it or something. Oh, yeah. There was that fucking one line at the end when she got her new sword because she like melted her dad's sword.
Additional.
Yeah, and her dad was like, "What's that third last character I see?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, oh my god." That's the worst, cheesiest line ever. I just had to have a close up of the 3 characters. What's that third? Oh, god, I get it. They add a third character. Okay, it was so cringy. I hated it. I also like what the she like declined. So just like the original Mulan, right? She got offered a high ranking position. She's like, no, I just want to go back to my family. Super noble. Same thing happened here, except now, right when she gets home, she hugs her dad. 2 minutes later, the soldiers showed up right behind her. I'm like, did they just follow immediately right after her, and they're like tailing her this whole time, like her whole way back home? And then they offer her a job again. They offered a job, but this time they have a new sword or whatever, and she accepts it this time. I'm like, what the fuck? You just said no. What the fuck changed? Oh, I guess you're back at home now, so you don't have to worry about your family. So then now you can accept a job. I was like, what the? It just made no sense. Like,
now will you accept the job?
Yeah, now that you're home.
This Chinese sword. Well, I guess.
Like, another complaint, and I've heard this from somewhere, but I thought it too, and it was like, you know, the stupid fucking witch, like, she's the worst bad guy I've ever seen. Everything Mulan does to save the day was because the witch told her shit's going down. And then she comes back, the witch told her. And like, why would you fucking trust the witch after she thrusted shit into your chest and she's literally the enemy?
Was basically like her Mushu.
Kind of, except she's the bad guy. But oh no, she's not really, because she saved her. Let me just rant on about the witch for a second, right? So Mulan goes back and to the army after she got banished. Comes back to the army, and her only source of info was from the witch. And she's like, "Oh, the empire or the emperor is going to get attacked. There's going to be another battle." And these soldiers,
I don't know how she knows this, but
these soldiers in general is just like, "We'll listen to you." I guess nothing changed. Like, she has no evidence other than the enemy told her. and they're like, okay, you know what? We trust you so much. We have so much respect for you now that you're a woman, and we have to respect that you're a woman. So you know what? We're gonna not only that, we're gonna let you lead. The general said this, right? I'm gonna let you lead all the men and myself back to the what's like the kingdom or whatever, right?
Yeah, you take this you
take
the special squad.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what? Why? Okay, so that's one witchy thing. Fucking, she saves Mulan by flying into an arrow. right? I'm like, that's stupid. You're so powerful. You have to sacrifice yourself by a turn. You can't knock the arrow out of the way. Like
You couldn't
she
you
grabbed
couldn't
the
have like
sword.
grabbed it.
She grabbed Mulan's sword. Mulan swung her sword at her when they first fought, and she literally grabbed the sword with her bare hands. Like she just swung
So she
forward.
should be able to grab like this arrow with both feet as a hawk.
Yeah, but even if she didn't, sure, whatever. She lost all her brain cells for a moment. You know, like a brain fart at the most integral time. You know, whatever. She had a brain fart, and then the bad guy just couldn't shoot a second fucking arrow. Mulan just laid there holding her. It was a free shot. Just shoot another arrow. He stood
Not
up
like
there.
He wasn't quick.
He waited. She had to climb all the way up that fucking tower to get to him. He waited the whole time. Didn't do anything. Didn't even finish his stupid monologue.
He only had one arrow.
Whatever.
So stupid. I know.
Just the whole witch. Like, why is this fuck like? Just let her be the bad guy. Like, why couldn't she be like the Michael B. Jordan, right? The Killmonger in Black Panther. If we want to go back compared to Black Panther, he was the bad guy, but you can understand his, frustrations, his motivations, and at the end of the day, he's the antagonist, but he's not an evil villain. I felt like that's what they wanted to do with her.
She didn't understand her motivation really.
Well, her motivation is supposed to be like, oh, the world has been shit to me because and outcasted me because, well, in the stories because she was a witch. Yeah, the chi thing was stupid.
She was completely.
So
stupid.
Mulan,
everyone have it. They just didn't use it, and
no, you're like born with it. So you have to be born with it. So this is another Chinese thing. My friend said, chi is supposed to be like the Force. Like George Lucas was very inspired by Asian culture, and that's what the Force was in a way, right? It's supposed to be like chi, and that's why like Naruto and stuff, you had chakra and shit or whatever, and like, yeah, it's just chi is just
Asian. It's a very Asian.
Yeah, chi isn't something you're born with. It's just it's like the Force, and it flows through everyone. And it's like you meditate, you meditate and you hone in, you get closer and you like understand it more and shit like that. But chi isn't like something you're born with.
Yeah, it's something you get in touch with spiritually almost.
Yeah, so my Chinese friends are like, what the fuck? Like they even get chi right. Chi's like such a specific Asian thing, obviously.
So many other movies get chi right.
Yeah, like think Avatar or something like that.
Avatar got chi perfect.
Yeah, right? Like everyone is special, they have airbender, so like, they bend shit and anyways, like they couldn't even get that right. And like so Mulan was born with chi, sure. Like just sure they got chi wrong. So now Mulan is special. Yeah. Mulan is special because she was born with it. Like she wasn't like the cartoon Mulan where she was just a normal girl and she overcame societal pressure and risked everything for her dad. Like she came from a power of strength, like naturally, versus being born with something special in you. So you're pretty much saying not all women are capable of what Mulan is unless they're born with a special element.
Yeah, unless you're born special.
Yeah, like that was stupid. And like, she used the chi to cheat. She didn't overcome anything. Her whole issue was that she didn't want to be known as a witch, so she suppressed her chi and she hid it, right? So like that's why at the end or during the training with the fucking water barrels and shit, which is the stupidest fucking shit ever, with the water barrels and shit, like she was just like, oh, I'm gonna use my chi now because why and not? Like it wasn't like she wasn't smart in the original cartoon. She was smart. She overcame the challenge with the arrow on the pole, right? He understood, like, hey, I don't have physical strength, but you know what? If I'm smart, I can through physics and just achieve, like, grab the arrow. Like, you don't need brawn, like, to be a strong warrior. Yeah.
As good as bronze.
Yeah.
Kind of the lesson there.
So that was brilliant in the original, but now it's just like she didn't have to work at all. She was a great fighter to begin with. She stood toe to toe.
I mean, she happened to just be a tomboy and practice with that stuff.
She was the best soldier when she walked into the camp. She just didn't show it.
Yeah.
Right? And she's still the best soldier at the end of it. Not because she trained, but because she had the special power. And like she Yeah, so it was just stupid.
She became the best soldier in the cartoon one because she just adapted and learned.
No,
from
she was
training
smart.
better than everyone else.
She was
She
smart.
was smart,
fucking...
so she was able to intake the training. You know,
no.
Everyone started on an even keel in the cartoon.
She wasn't even a good fighter. Everything she did.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying everyone went to that training camp as a fucking noob.
Yeah.
Right? In the cartoon.
Yeah.
And the only reason why she became better than some of them as a fighter and stuff like that is because she learned quicker.
Well, she's creative and she's like
okay, well, creativity lets you learn quicker and
well, here, let me
give
kind
you
of
advantage, but it
no, but she is
it makes you think outside the box, and thinking outside the box is what's going to make you be a step above of everyone else, the average.
Yeah, like the scene when again, two very similar scenes. The scene when she shot the last rocket into the mountain for the avalanche.
Scene.
Yeah,
they did a terrible scene this time trying to like making it similar but not the same.
Well, yeah, but in the cartoons they made it clear the general wanted to point the rocket at their leader. You know, you have one shot left, pointing at the leader. You know, at least take him down. Mulan, you know, through her own decision, disobeyed him, saved everyone by taking it and shooting it into the mountain,
which was a big deal.
So what did
even for a man to disobey a leader command?
Yeah,
you know?
So she was smart.
It's huge.
So what did and at the end, like side thing, like Mulan was smart. She like she had the fan, blocked the sword, and she flipped the sword and got the sword. Whatever. It's another moment where she used her brain.
Uses her creativity. And her brain
what did she do in the live action? She in the battle.
She dropped her sword in lava immediately.
You know, but I'm going to talk about the battle with Avalanche.
Okay, yeah. The last battle, the final battle.
No, not the final one. Not the one at the
the mountain battle. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, what did she do? She ran around the battlefield. That's not even fucking snowy to begin with.
Right.
She grabbed some helmets, propped them up. She shot arrows at the bad guys, and somehow 5 helmets and 1 person shooting arrows at the army distracted the entire. I don't know what they were, Mongolians. I mean, let's just call them Mongolians.
Something else.
There was some witchy thing because they didn't want to like offend people and.
Yeah.
So whatever, the Mongolians. Let's just call them that because that's the.
Like made up the Mongols.
So she distracted the whole army, and they were they turned an entire fucking catapult around 180, and shot, and that was luck. I don't consider that smartness, brains. Like
they obviously know how far that catapult shoots, right? Like,
well, yeah, like they just totally missed
that much.
But okay, so it's luck, right? Because there's no way that Mulan was like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna trick them to turn their catapults around. Like if she thought that she could be,
she could have just been making an opportunity open, like an open opportunity. Sometimes that's all you can do. Like when you're already screwed in battle, the best thing you could do is open up opportunity.
Yeah, but it's not a direct thought. In the cartoon, it was a direct thought. I'm intentionally stealing this last rocket and trying to create an avalanche. In the cartoons,
it was shitty from the beginning because she didn't have that plan.
Well, people can argue she had that plan. Her plan the whole time was to have them fire a catapult at the mountain. But that's like luck. Like how would you know they would do that? Like they can easily just send a few men up there.
Interpretation of that it was her plan or not.
No, that's stupid. Like if people interpreted that, it's because they're trying to draw too much similarities or something.
Yeah.
But like naturally, that's not normal. Like you're not gonna. The realistic thing. And that's why this movie direction was terrible. Like the realistic thing, there's a few soldiers up there. Go deal with them. Like shoot a giant catapult, which isn't fucking accurate at all. Like shouldn't be that accurate to begin with.
Right. They should know approximately how far it shoots.
Yeah.
Like,
but even like, okay,
it's gonna hit the mountain.
Like think about any fucking medieval movie. All right, there's 2 soldiers up there. let's try to hit them with a clunky catapult. Like, shoot arrows, fucking something. Like, a catapult isn't designed for one person. But anyways.
And they knocked over like 4 of the 5 helmets. So like they killed 4 of the 6 people that were over there.
Yeah.
So like
and
it was like,
and me just imagining Mulan, like, whatever. Like, I was gonna say, like, running across. You didn't have to imagine it because it showed her running around the battlefield picking up helmets. I'm like, no one saw that. Really, she's just galloping
Just has
around
them
picking
now.
up. Anyways, and then somehow she flanks them all too. Like, what the fuck? There's a long line of them. But anyways,
Well, surprises us.
how the fuck? Like, the catapult doesn't go that far, and there's no snow on them. So if they hit the base, even a little bit elevation of the mountain, right? How much snow can there really be on
It has
this
to be
mountain?
covered in snow in order for snow to avalanche like over it.
Well, it was covered in snow, but it was done in such an unbelievable way. Like, we've been up to the mountain before when there was snow. There's some time, so it's like pure dirt, and you see some patches of snow, and then it progresses. But literally, it was dry ass rocks, huge patch of mountain snow, right behind Mulan, and I'm like, I get it. You hit the base of it. Maybe there's like a domino effect. And,
who knows? Maybe things are weird.
but,
in China
stupid.
Landscape.
But like, fucking, speaking of catapult, like, fucking, like, all these soldiers, the whole army, I'm talking about the Chinese army, the good guys, gets attacked by crows, and they're like all freaking out. They like have to turtle up with their shields. They're like, fucking birds attacking us. Let's just huddle up and get hit by catapults.
Swinging.
They didn't even swing. They're just
not even swinging their swords. Or
I'm like, what's your plan? What's your game plan here, dude? Run away or something. You're just sitting ducks hoping the birds would go away or what while you're being smashed by fiery rocks. Like, I'm just like, you guys can't be this dumb. So like,
they're dumb.
It was so stupid.
Any final thoughts
on Mulan? I don't even know, man. It's awful. Like,
awful. I agree.
Like I said, there's nothing. So one of the things that my friend said, and I did notice this too when we watched it, was that some of the shots were beautiful, like paintings. There's like really wide landscape shots. You have Mulan there and stuff like that. It looks really nice cinematically. But every time I saw one of those, even though I'm more, obviously, you know what I do, right? I'm like behind the camera. I really appreciate the cinematography. Like, every time I see one of those beautiful shots, I can't even appreciate it. It feels like a punch in the gut. It's like, look at this shitty movie, but hey, look, here's a pretty shot. And I'm like, oh my God, the movie thinks I'm dumb. I'm not gonna get distracted by this shit.
That's what it seems like at the end of the day. It seems like you're watching something that's for dumb people. And
I don't. Like, God, that's such a controversial statement. Not everyone who likes it is gonna be like, look, people are entitled to their opinions, right? But
I guess, yes, you're allowed to like. You're allowed to like dumb things, and it doesn't make you a dumb person for liking dumb things. But I will look at you differently.
Yeah.
Differently if you're like, oh, Mulan, I love Mulan. It was really cool. And I'll be like, oh, okay. Well, I will never honor your opinion.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask you. Like, why did they like it? Like, maybe if you can ask them again for me, and then I'm just like, is it the character Mulan? Because she's never smiles, she never says anything. Like, why you wouldn't like the main character Mulan? Like, I don't see why anyone would like her.
I don't know.
She wasn't funny.
Like, I hated it so much. And I think it was more just like when I realized like other people liked it more. Maybe I myself was just like, oh, maybe I was too harsh on it. Maybe like me rethink on it a little bit. But
I don't know. So I've on Facebook there were some Asian people who liked it, and I didn't want to be controversial and spoil things. So I didn't want to like fight them with it, especially since the movie just came out too. Like, I don't. Because then it's like it's public and everyone else can read it and stuff like that. So I didn't want to like spoil it too much. I mean, maybe in a few weeks, or people have seen it. I can like
Mhm.
talk shit more to like just people. But
Mhm.
like I can't recommend even watching this if it was free come December or like free with Disney Plus.
No, I
Um,
wouldn't recommend it.
it's like it's
Well,
waste of
I'd say I'll
time.
go waiting for it to come out, and because it's a Disney movie, yeah, you should go and watch it. But
The only reason I can recommend anyone to watch it is if they're Asian or any race. But if they want to see the
whitewashing
unfair,
of it.
yeah, like the how Hollywood whitewashed Asian culture. So black
Mhm.
culture is just coming around. Like that's what Hollywood did to black culture at the beginning too. It was all it's like black skin, black actors that even play black people. It's the same thing as Asians now.
Mhm.
We had like the whole few years ago when Johansson played Japanese lady. We had
Mhm.
a white guy play Goku, white guy
Mhm.
play Avatar, The
Yeah,
Last
I've seen that.
Airbender,
That
right?
was
So it's
terrible.
like it's just Hollywood whitewashing Asian culture, and this, even though it
Well,
has a full Asian cast, it still has a lot of whitewashing elements into
well,
it.
the whole woke nation has not accepted Asians really.
I mean, because I don't know. I
Because
don't
you
want
know
to
why
put my foot
Asians
in my
have the
mouth,
same
but
bad rap that, in my opinion, I mean, this could get very controversial, but Asians have the same bad rap that Jews have. That because Jews, I think, are very studious and oriented to like success,
mhm.
they more disproportionately become successful. Their parents are hard on it. Their kids, get heavily pushed on them, but that pressure allows them to just have this quality of successful qualities
Well, what I
in
can
both
say
cultures.
is I think in Asian culture,
And
I don't want
mhm,
to speak for any other cultures, but like growing up as an Asian, even though like I'm very Americanized and even somewhat whitewashed, like
mhm,
it's it's the sense that in Asian culture, it's more like you don't have to prove anything to anybody. So that's
mhm,
why we're less vocal, even though I think we are becoming a lot more vocal now. But it's always
mhm.
been we've been less vocal because you know what, like we don't care what Hollywood thinks or how we're treated. Like at the end of the day, I know that I'm can handle myself
Mhm.
and I'm happy with that. I don't need society to like approve of me.
Yeah, which is a lot of the way. I mean, I don't know. That's how I feel. I can't say that's how white people feel in general. But on the other hand, it's hard to say for white people because it's a white person's world for the most part,
Yeah.
So, um,
Yeah.
so
Well,
it's hard to even compare. But most minority cultures don't have that kind
yeah.
of thinking.
And
Um,
generally to Asian cultures, and the stereotype is we're very into science and math, right? So
right.
the
Which is I think that just comes from pressure to be very studious.
yeah, so you're very much pushed to be less creative. So
Yes.
I think that's a problem too because then some of the actors in Mulan was so bad, and I didn't even like. For me, what I saw it was that like as Asian culture, because a lot of them were
Mhm.
American Asian Americans, right? Like
Mhm.
they had very good English accents. Um, and
Well, let's let's end it here
yeah,
because I gotta make food,
gotcha.
and I could go on about
No, like
Asian
Mulan,
culture all day and how much Mulan was very lackluster.
yeah, it's
Maybe we'll even do a part two one day, but I don't know.